Hey, yo, D!
Announce they're there, boom, they could kick your door down.
Hands up. Walk backwards to me. Who else is in here?
It's right there, but it's protection.
It's in his waist, man.
Oh,
Come on out! Come out now!
We're gonna send that dog in. Hands.
Come in!
So how do we know he had an accidental discharge? He didn't admit it in the video. Well, we've got to look at the evidence.
He's actually in the process of dying. In the year 2002, I was no-knock raided by the Chief of Police, Michael Moore, of LAPD with an entire SWAT team, twice in the same month. Since that date, I began studying the history of America and constitutional law. I am an autodidactic constitutional law scholar. Over the past couple years, what I've done is I've been able to devise a system, understanding that the police have created a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols that they use to arrest you. I've also created a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols for you to follow that gives you back the power when you're forced to interact with these jackboot thug pigs. It has become a tyrannical jackboot thug police state, prison state, death state. I will win the governorship and I will change the policies from the top down. Everybody hit the like button if you would, pretty please, with sugar and cherries on top. Can you do that for me? It'll just take you 2 seconds, but boy, it would make the biggest difference in the world. And then do me a favor, type into the comment section, if you would, pretty please. There's just 4 letters that we always say. OTVO. Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Drop it in there. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. This is from the Force Review again.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Force Review. I'll be your host for the next few minutes. I'm an active patrol officer with 13 years of patrol experience. August 30th, 2022, Columbus police are looking for Donovan Lewis. They're looking to serve an arrest warrant for 1 felony and 2 misdemeanors. The felony was for improper handling of a firearm. The misdemeanors were for probation violation and domestic violence.
Not until I know they're inside. Yo, D! I heard something. Hey, yo, D!
Let's talk about arrest warrants. If you have a felony arrest warrant, the police can bust down your door any time of the day or night to serve it.
So what have I told you? If the cops come and bang on your door, you don't answer. You don't say a word. You sit down and you shut up. I made a video about this. It's got 6 million views. Listen to what the pig on duty. This is an active pig right here.
But first, the police need 2 things before they bust down your door. They need reason to believe that you actually live there.
They have to think that you're there.
And they also need reason to believe that you're actually on the premise.
And that you're on the premises. If the police beat on your door, come out, wherever you are. Shh, sit down, be quiet, wait.
But first, they got to give knock-in notice. They knock on your door, announce the police are there, and give you a reasonable time to answer the door.
Now, why is Kerr versus California the law? Why is it the policy of the Supreme Court? In 1961, in a case called Mapp versus Ohio, the Warren Court, Earl Warren, they held that the police could not just enter into your home without a warrant, based on Dolores Mapp versus Ohio, her home being raided based purely on speculation that she had pornography. And so when they raided Dolores Mapp's home, then in 1961, the Supreme Court, a broken clock is right twice a day, they created what's called fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. And this is an extension of the 1914 case called Weeks versus United States, which creates the exclusionary rule. The exclusionary rules means that evidence is going to be excluded from your case if it was obtained illegally or unconstitutionally. That's called the exclusionary rule, Weeks versus United States, 1914. In 1961, to further the doctrine of the exclusionary rule, you got the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine from Mapp versus Ohio that says if the police enter into your home without a warrant, that all the evidence they find is not admissible in court. It's excluded, the carryover from the exclusionary rule from Weeks. The police then decided to petition all up and down the streets in Washington, D.C., everywhere against Earl Warren to get Earl Warren impeached. Earl Warren, the same man who just passed Mapp versus Ohio. So in 1963, when the case of Kerr came before them, this is where they're trying to catch narcotics dealers. They called them narcotics dealers who were dealing Mary Jane, narcotics dealers. And they illegally went into the Kerr's house. They then expanded the rule that all cops could do it. All they had to do was knock, 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 announce they're there. Boom, they could kick your door down. It's a felony warrant. Of course, then it's justified to kick your door down.
About 30 seconds.
Apartment H, come to the door. It's Columbus Police. Show me your hands. Hands up. Face away from me. Face away from me. Hands up. Walk backwards to me. Who else is in here? Huh?
Oh, shit.
Okay, turn around. Turn around. Another guy on the couch to the left. Looking for Donovan. Where's he at?
Whose apartment is this? Who's your homie?
I believe Blue.
Who?
Blue.
How old are you, man?
19.
Okay. Why did you stand for me?
Who else is in the
Back up
apartment?
this way. Sorry.
Have a seat real quick. I got you. Have a seat. Where's the knife?
Huh?
I ain't know. I got knives. I got knives on me. It's right there, but it's protection.
It's in his waist, man.
Oh, yeah.
Have a seat. They're saying nobody else. Columbus.
Police Department K-9 unit! You're inside now. Stand out the house in this dog! How do you not know? How'd you get in? Come on out! Come out now!
If your warrant involves firearms, violence, or you have a history of firearms or violence, the police are probably going to use a canine to search for you. In this case, Donovan Lewis had the warrant involving a firearm, so the use of a canine was appropriate.
No, it's not appropriate. A dog bite, just so you guys know, you go to dogbite.org. When a dog bites you, it could take up to $1 million in surgery and skin grafts. And for what? Because he had a gun? He didn't shoot anybody with the gun. You said he mishandled a gun? So someone saw a gun? My gun's right here. If you see it, am I mishandling my gun?
Yeah, there's somebody back there. That dog's gonna bite you if you don't come out.
I'll move up.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let's talk about that canine handler. He's got to control that dog and watch for any alerts. That's going to take up all his attention. Thus, the canine handler should not have to worry about threats in the room. He should have a dedicated officer to protect him.
Knocking him up.
While the Columbus police are searching this apartment, the canine alerts on a bedroom door, indicating that somebody is inside.
You want to watch them? Now I'm worried that the back door.
No, no.
There's two windows. AC unit, last one.
We're gonna send that dog in.
Sorry, 3D91 960.
Hands.
Come in!
They approach the door, and the canine officer, Officer Anderson, opens it. At this point, his cover officer has his gun trained inside the room. Officer Anderson draws his gun, fires a single round, and reholsters his gun. The round strikes Donovan Lewis while he's in bed. He doesn't have a gun. He is holding a vape pen.
Crawl out! Crawl out here!
Donovan can't crawl out because the bullet hit him in the top of the head. He's actually in the process of dying. They had to get him, though. It was a felony warrant. They had every right to just tap, 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 knock on the door, announce they were there, and then kick it in. And if someone's in there, they put them in torture cuffs too. Hey, you're in the place that we have a felony warrant arrest, so whatever happens to you is justified because it's for officer safety. Terry versus Ohio. We get to tap on your door and knock it in. Kerr versus California, 1963.
Get your hands up. All right, cover me. I'm gonna go in.
I got you.
Hold on.
You can look like this.
So why did Officer Anderson shoot? Did he mistake the vape pen for a gun? No. Officer Anderson has what is called an accidental or negligent discharge. So how do we know he had an accidental discharge? He didn't admit it in the video. Well, we've got to look at the evidence. There are 5 pieces of evidence that tell us that Officer Anderson had an accidental discharge. Number 1, Officer Anderson's attention is divided. He's opening the door, handling his dog, and handling his gun all at the same time. Number 2, Officer Anderson only has one hand on his gun. Number 3, Officer Anderson only fires one shot. Officers almost always fire multiple shots when somebody points a gun at them. In fact, they're usually trained to fire 2 shots before they reassess. Number 4, Officer Anderson says, "Oh, something," possibly a curse word, immediately after the shot. I've reviewed several accidental officer-involved shootings, and I consider this to be a hallmark of accidental shootings. The gun going off surprises them because they didn't mean to pull the trigger, and their exclamation is almost an involuntary response. Number 5, Officer Anderson holsters his gun immediately after firing. If somebody pointed a gun at you, you don't fire one shot and then holster your gun. You keep your gun trained on that person, in case you have to follow up with more shots. Something else that may have been a factor, but is inconclusive, is that Officer Anderson may have been trying to activate his gun light.
We have created a jackboot thug pig system, and it's upheld by the Supreme Court that's supposed to uphold our constitutional rights, but they don't. But they absolutely don't.
This is common in officer-involved accidental shootings. Officers try to activate their gun light and miss and hit the trigger instead. So now that we've established that this was an accidental shooting, there are 2 laws under the Ohio Revised Code that may have been broken: negligent homicide and reckless homicide. The code for negligent homicide states that no person shall negligently cause the death of another by means of a deadly weapon. The code for reckless homicide states that no person shall recklessly cause the death of another. So did this shooting fit one of those 2 categories, or was it purely an accident?
The idea that we have an unelected Supreme Court that works against us constantly, that passes policies like Terry versus Ohio, Pennsylvania versus Mims, Kerr versus California, Brinegar versus United States, the Carroll Doctrine from 1925, Graham versus Connor 1989. These cases are what ruin a free America. The 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. And then after those 7 cases, we could take a look at Pearson versus Ray 1967, which creates qualified immunity for police.
You know, in gun safety courses and at police academies, they tell you that you're responsible for every round that you send downrange. So what exactly does that mean, to be responsible for every round? Well, it pretty much doesn't mean anything. In order for you to be convicted under negligent homicide or reckless homicide, you would have to send that round downrange in a negligent or reckless manner.
The Fifth Amendment cop card is the only card you need in your wallet when you see a JBTP. Remember, cops are not your friend. If you're walking down the road and a cop interacts with you, the moment you see the cop, you get the yellow card in your hand. You have to have a pair of Fifth Amendment cop cards in your wallet at all times. If you carry your credit cards in your phone, it's the exact same size as your Visa, as your driver's license. The number one defense that you have against these JBTPs is your camera and the Fifth Amendment cop card. Thanks. My name is Chili DeCastro, and I am Delete Lawz.